Hi, everybody. We're going to be working on Chapter 8 now, called Hypothesis Testing. This is my absolutely favorite chapter in the whole book, believe it or not. It may start out as very hard for you, and I strongly advise you, as I always do, but even more so now, I need you to watch the videos for each of these sections, 8.2, 8.3, 8.4, and 8.5, but also read the textbook for each section. You will be doing yourself a huge disservice, and you'll be hurting your chance for success in this class if you don't do as I ask you to do. I know how hard this can be, and just doing by repetition, this will become easier. But what will the repetition involve? It will involve reading the textbook, sitting down with the book, either the ebook or the paper book, writing out and following each example in each section. Do the same thing when you're watching the videos. Write out the examples as you watch. Don't just sit and watch. You have to be active in this case. Again, the repetition will help it come easier for you. We are now, as we said in the last chapter, it's all about inferential statistics. It's all about using sample data to make an inference or a decision or a conclusion about a population. And we'll be using sample data to estimate a population parameter. And remember, those population parameters have Greek letters, the mean, mu, the standard deviation, sigma, the variance, sigma squared. And we'll also be testing a hypothesis or a claim about a population parameter. I also meant to include the population proportion. That's another population parameter, and we call it P. Okay, remember what was the sample statistic for a proportion, it was P hat. The sample mean was X bar. Population mean is mu, as you can see right here. And the population standard deviation is sigma. The sample standard deviation is called S. So different variables, because we are talking about different groups, either the population parameters, those Greek letters, or the sample statistics, the other English letters that we use as variables. Here's some examples of hypotheses that can be tested. So the first one here is all about genetics. The Genetics and IVF Institute claims that its X-sort method allows couples to increase the probability of having a baby girl. It's something that happens so that they will be more likely to have a baby girl. Well, we're going to be given data about that claim. And basically, they'll always say something like, it is found to be a certain percentage of having baby girls. They'll start out the problems with that percentage, and that's going to be the claim. That could be your null hypothesis. And then you'll have to come up with an alternative hypothesis for any of these three types of examples, or many more that you're going to work on. Another one here, a newspaper cites a pricegrabber.com survey of 1,631 subjects and claims that a majority have heard of Kindle as an ebook reader. Again, they'll have to follow this with some data that you can then put into a hypothesis test. And finally, it is often claimed that the mean body temperature is 98.6 degrees. We can test this claim using a sample of 106 body temperatures with a mean of 98.2 degrees. Remember that the alternative hypothesis, the null hypothesis will always have equal in it. The alternative hypothesis could either be greater than, less than, or not equal. Basically the opposite of any equal null hypothesis. Remember, again, it can be tricky, this chapter, but consider the context of the data, the source of the data, and the sampling method used to obtain the sample data, because it's really important to understand what's going on in these problems, as it says here, instead of just jumping directly to procedures and calculations. See you next time. Bye.